we'll go through these 4 real quick. First one that we have here is a TRX Fallout. So for this, Kai's going to start in a kneeling position. You'll probably want to slide that pad forward just a little bit since I lengthened those arms. So for here, Kai's going to start tall kneeling. Toes are tucked in the back. She's going to start by initiating through her breath and then just kind of fall into it. And remember, she will determine her end range based on where that exhale ends. Breathe twice, 1, 2, and then rebreathe as we come back to the top of that motion. Shaking like Ali in his last days.
I needed that.
Rebreathe, exhale, long arms. So here we're getting a lot of that anterior abdomen stretch, getting some pec line, a little bit of the bicep. For some people, they may feel this more in the quad or the hip flexor, but in either case, we want to let the athlete determine the end range. This shouldn't be anything that puts too much strain on the body. We want to be reasonably comfortable as we're going through these, and you'll notice as they go through them, they'll get a little bit further with each rep until they reach a true terminal range. So perfect there on our TRX Fallouts. Number 2 here, we're going to have her come forward, and this second one is going to be a crab bridge with an L-sit. So one thing that'll be very common with these fascia line stretches is we're going to see a lot of combination movements. So for here, we'll have her start in the L-sit, legs are long out in front. She'll bring her hips off the ground. She'll initiate through her breath. Exhale, come into that crab bridge position, and she will stop moving her hips when her breath finishes. And notice how her whole body is open. Her head opens up as she gets to that top end there. Hips are all the way through, and then she'll return back to the starting position. So for this one, most people will feel in the bridge position a little bit on that anterior tib, a lot in the hip flexors and quad here. Some people may feel this a little bit more in the abdomen. And then as she sits back into the L-sit, this will go more towards the upper part of the line. She'll feel this more in the biceps tendon, anterior delt, maybe a little bit of pec line in that bottom position. But this is a great demonstration here. Perfect. Number 3, now we're going to come back to the TRX, and this is just going to be a forward step with a back reach. So again, opposing actions here. We're trying to create length throughout the entire line. So for here, Kai will start nice and tall, initiating through her breath. As she exhales, she'll step into that front lunge and just reach her hands up and back as far as she can. So for this one, we're going to get good rib opening. We'll get a lot through the abdomen on this one. Maybe some hip flexor again. As she comes back to that top position, she'll rebreathe, stepping with the opposite foot, long arms, and again, paying attention to the hands here. She's active through that grip, kind of compressing through the TRX straps to again create tensioning throughout that entire line. And we'll get one more step in here. Good, getting a little bit further on each step here. Hands are coming back a little bit further, getting a little bit more rib motion. Excellent. Number 4, last one for this first series, is just going to be a bar hang with deep breaths. Now with the bar hang, this is something where if you're somebody who does a lot of pull-ups, or you have a lot of upper body strength, you can do this with actually having your feet elevated off the ground. If that's not the case, we can get the exact same thing, same effect, just having her feet on the ground. So we'll notice here with this one, 2 things. Number 1, having the tensioning through the hands and the pressure through the feet, and then using breath as motion. So that's actually creating a stretch dynamic for us. And then the second thing that we're going to notice here is she's going to step back and reset after she goes into each breath cadence here. So again, this is a good example where we don't want to just have a pure static dead hang. It won't take long before that starts to just create undue stress on the shoulder joints. This is allowing her to keep it in the tissue, which is what we want, really emphasizing the lines, not the joints.